Well, the fire is out, but the story is far from over. Thanks for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Ashley Rowe. The city said it was a natural gas leak in the HVAC system that caused this fire at the Raleigh Convention Center. And our drone video really does seem to back that up. Look at the debris and the damage all on the roof. The city says this will cost $2 million to fix. But the real damage comes in the form of lost economic impact. At least 3 events scheduled at the convention center have either postponed or relocated. 2 cheer competitions and a cybersecurity convention. Meantime, we're about 20 hours into the cleanup process. WRAL's Flynn Snyder joining us now live at the Raleigh Convention Center. Crews have been working outside and inside. Flynn, you got a look at what the fire did to the building's interior.
Yeah, Ashley, there are still a few work trucks outside the convention center as crews inside work to assess and clean up that damage. Take a look at this video. This shows crews mopping up water from the sprinklers, firefighters, and the earlier rains from today. City officials say the fire caused part of the roof to leak. Engineers also spent the day ensuring the roof was structurally sound and safe to be on so that investigators could access the heating and AC unit tied to this blaze. Teams here say it is very early on and they are still assessing the damage in this 500,000 square foot facility. While they're assessing, they're also having to talk with these event organizers who are now changing plans.
We're trying to find other places that perhaps they can hold their event, or can we move the date, or can we not make this work? And so we're working on this week, starting on next week, and then we'll see from there if it's any longer or if that solves it all.
Yeah, so organizers of events that were planned here are having to make adjustments quickly. City officials told us that move-in was supposed to be today for an event planned here in the coming days. That obviously did not happen. City officials are hoping to have a better timeline of when things could get back to normal here by the end of the week. Flynn Snyder, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And we will be sure to keep us posted on that. We wanted to know if this fire could have been prevented, if something wasn't right with the building. WRAL Investigates found the most recent inspection records for the convention center dated May of this year. They found several failures the city says did get fixed. WRAL's Sean Gallagher got a look at those records and brought that information to Raleigh's mayor.
Broadcastified radio traffic depicted the chaos for firefighters Monday night.
Fires on the roof. I repeat, the fire's on the roof.
The fire was out in less than 30 minutes, but today, questions still burning.
How quickly can we get the convention center back up and running normally?
Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell spoke to me before Tuesday's city council meeting, where she addressed the latest updates about the status of the convention center.
Cybersecurity, which was supposed to have an event starting tomorrow, they have decided, given the circumstances, that they will find alternative venues. I think we could all guess that probably if there's some immediate event, it could well be delayed.
9 items marked as failed in its most recent annual inspection. Included in that list, the fire alarm system, sprinklers, and an automatic fire door, which the city says were all fixed prior to last night's fire.
Is that concerning when you hear a building that's as important to downtown Raleigh and really the city as a whole had, some things fall through the cracks?
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely all the questions that we'll be asking. And we have invested a lot, in the building. So it is obviously concerning that there was a gas leak and that it caused as much damage as it did.
Damage we got an up-close look at today from drone video. The charred remains of an HVAC system that was engulfed in flames less than 24 hours ago, totaling some $2 million in damage. Cowell still trying to figure out if that could be covered by insurance, but the true damages lie ahead.
I think the bigger cost will be if there's disruption to ongoing activities and the rents and the leases.
Sean Gallagher, WRAL News in Raleigh.
We should put that $2 million worth of damage into perspective. Of course, that's a lot of money for you and me, but not for a convention center covered by insurance. Plus, the Raleigh Convention Center is in the middle of a $400 million expansion. They released these renderings back in October showing what the project will look like when it's done. This will expand the convention center to just under 800,000 square feet. That's almost the size of Buckingham Palace. The project is expected to wrap up in about 2 years. First, they have to relocate Red Hat Amphitheater, and that work is already underway. It's also worth noting We've seen a handful of major fires in downtown Raleigh over the years. Maybe you remember when Green Shields Pub and Brewery caught fire in 2004. It was the anchor of Raleigh's city market. The fire started in the ventilation system above the kitchen, and the business had to close. Then in 2012, there was the fire that destroyed the Hibernian Pub on Glenwood South. A fire suppression system in the kitchen put out the initial fire, but the flames had already spread to walls and the ceiling, and there was no sprinkler system in the building. Amazingly, nobody was hurt, and the pub's owner did rebuild. Gravy on Wilmington Street caught fire in 2019 after someone left a stove on. Similar to what we saw last night, firefighters surrounded that area. There was minor damage, and the restaurant reopened after a few days. In 2020, the Devon apartment building on Boylan Avenue, it caught fire. No one was hurt, and only 2 units were damaged in the end. But it was 2017. Remember that? When we saw downtown Raleigh's last major fire. Construction was underway at the Metropolitan Apartments, and the building went up in flames. Look at that. 9 other nearby buildings were damaged. You could see the flames and the smoke for miles. The City of Raleigh spokesperson talked about this with us last night over the phone during WRAL's breaking news coverage.
Talking in here tonight about how this is so reminiscent of the Metropolitan apartment fire in downtown Raleigh back in 2017. Compare that, because you were here covering it, with what happened tonight.
I don't think you can compare it. Yeah. I mean, the 2017 fire was the worst fire in 100 years, and that went on for hours and hours, and there was glass shattered all over the streets, and yeah, I got called out to that to cover that, but no, there is no comparison. This was out within like 30 to 45 minutes.
Investigators never figured out what caused the fire, but the apartment building project was eventually finished, and it reopened to residents in 2019. You can count on WRAL to bring any updates on the Raleigh Convention Center fire, what's next for events planned in the days and weeks ahead, as well as any major developments from the fire investigation. We will bring you those updates on the air and, of course, on the WRAL app and on WRAL.com.